What's up, guys? Welcome. Rapid Fire Golf, Season 2, Episode 3. Trying out some new camera setup here. So hopefully this all looks good and maybe even looks better with the background than normal and run smooth. So we're going to test something new and we'll see how she goes. If you guys haven't been here for Rapid Fire Golf before, how this works is you can fire away your questions and I will answer them rapid fire style. Anything golf related that you'd like, we can chat about, and we'll rock and roll. So whenever everyone's on and you have a question, just type it in. I'll give it a read, and we will we'll chat. We'll see if we have as many people as the past couple times, and we'll see if we can get through other questions. So I'll hit some until everyone gets in, and we can ask questions. I think that picture quality probably looks pretty good. Nice when we do this. That was a video game. This one feels good, but hitting it good. Some of you guys saw, I don't know where you guys are at, but I posted on Facebook and Instagram. I shot 32, 4 under the other day when I played, which for me is good. I don't shoot 32 all the time. So the swing feels good, but hitting it good. Robert, what's up, man? Special hello to Mary. Robert says hello, Mary. Congrats again on your amazing test. Well earned. Thank you, Robert. We appreciate you, my friend. Appreciate you being here with us. I forget, I got to look at this camera here now. Matchups for slightly laid off position at the top. So, Josh, what's nice about being slightly laid off at the top position, so laid off kind of being the shaft more over this way, is I don't really have to do anything to shift plane on the way down, meaning I don't have to be perfect with a lot of pieces. So I would say, in terms of that, having the club a little bit more on that laid off side, so a little bit more this way. I don't need to pivot well. I can do some things with my arms and hands that aren't great, and I can still have the club be right on plane. So the matchups for that, I mean, it's just you don't have to do anything to shallow it, right? So if I were to get up to the top and I get the club more, let's say, down the line or across the line, there's some things I have to do to pair with that to get the club back up, like wrist conditions, body motion, pivot, etc. If I have the club already laid off here, I can get away with some too much slide. I can get away with pretty much a lot of things. So I'd say it's maybe easier for some people, and what pairs up with it well is kind of not having to do much during the downswing. So I would say when in doubt, if I'm working with someone on the backswing, I like the club down the line. Can help get a little bit longer, create more speed, can make it easier to shallow. But a lot of people, you just get the club right on plane, kind of right in line with their left arm, and then just bring her back down the same way can be a lot easier. So I think it's probably easier for most people. Can you show a closed and open club face at the top of the swing? They are closed and open to what specifically? Understand this concept when the club is parallel and not at the top. So basically what we're looking for in terms of the club, for it to be square. So if I held my arm out in front, right, and I had just like a neutral wrist position, the club would be parallel to my left forearm, right? So it'd be like this. So the forearm and my club would be on the same angle, perpendicular to the target. But I'm swinging the club on an arc around my body, right? So I want the club face square here. To have it square there, so it's square with my edge, I'm going to have some forearm rotation at the top. I'm looking for the leading edge to still be parallel to my forearm. So that would look like this. So this leading edge up here, the same line as my forearm, because that would be the same thing if I was here. That would be square. This would be open. See how that club face is open to my forearm? That would be toe down at the top. So that would be like this, too far toe down at the top. And then if this were closed, this club face would be left of my forearm like this. And then if I went to the top, that would be left of my forearm, would be facing the sky. So leading edge parallel with the forearm would be square, because that's square on my arc. Open would be toe down at the top. Closed would be up towards the sky at the top. And that would be closed there. So that's basically how that works. Where you want the club face angle is going to be a little bit dependent on your grip angle, things like that. I would prefer a neutral to strong grip, or a neutral to strong club face. So I would prefer magnetic tool here. I would prefer a club face that points a little bit more up towards the sky compared to this way, right? So even with my forearm like this would be beautiful, or even a little bit more up towards the sky. Because for me to get the club face closed like that, I either have good wrist conditions or I have a strong enough grip. And the face being more shut on the way down really promotes the handle being more forward, more shaft lean, better compression, more draw, less slice, etc. So it depends a little bit on your grip pattern, but that's kind of what you're looking to do. The weaker the grip, so if I have my knees, or if I have my lead shoulder, I gotta really bow my left wrist to get it parallel. The stronger my grip, so over here, I can even be a little bit cupped at the top and still have a square club face. So that's kind of what we're looking for when we talk about that. Mr. Campbell, what's up, buddy? Let me get back up here. Brett, I gotta remember I gotta go a little faster. Dude, it's rapid fire, it's called. Brett, Eric, thank you for the great instruction. Wondering about takeaway feelings on backswing with driver. Thanks. Yeah, you got it, Brett. I would say what you need to feel during the takeaway is very dependent on what you're currently doing. If you search my name in takeaway, there's a bunch of videos. One's called troubleshooting your takeaway. It talks about the club being in 4 different quadrants. So if your air is low and inside, or high and inside, or low and outside, or high and outside, it shows you how to fix all that and what moves the club around. So I would check that out. Troubleshooting your takeaway would be the one. And then we did a video called perfecting the perfect takeaway in detail. I would go through those, Brett, because it depends on what you have. Now, if you had no swing issues whatsoever, and you just like had no tendencies, I would say to club first parallel, I'd like to see the chest and shoulders, if they're square, rotating about 30 degrees. So there's some chest and shoulder rotation. So my chest, shoulder, and core is moving the club back. Not a lot of hip turn to the takeaway, just at 15 degrees. So it's much more chest and shoulders. Notice with the driver too, I want some width here. So I'd rather there be not a ton of hinge. If you look at long drivers, not a ton of hinge. I'd rather have some width. Chest and shoulders turn from here, and then the rest of the body can catch up from there to the top. We'll go from there. Rob Campbell wishes he could hit a drive that far. So that's kind of what I would do, more upper body. But again, it depends on what you have. Whatever your issue is, you got to feel more of the opposite. So if you are too far inside with too much roll, you need to feel no forearm rotation. If you're too far inside because you don't hinge enough, you need to feel more hinge. It just depends on whatever your issue is. You got to start to feel the opposite. But search my name, Brett, and takeaway. You'll see all those, videos. Cameron, strong grip. I see 3 knuckles in my left hand. My wrist is flat throughout the swing, but I still struggle with the slice. What else could be the issue? So if you have a strong grip and your wrist is flat, the face should theoretically be in a good spot. So like if you tell me you have that and the ball still slices, I would question that. Like, is that real on video? Is that just what you feel is going on? And then you look at off-center hits. So are you hitting it too far towards the toe or the heel? Probably too far towards the heel if it's slicing too much with the driver. If it slices with all clubs, then it could be something else. And then in all likelihood, the path being too far outside in. So you have to fix the path at some point. Your ball position might be way forward. Your shoulder line might be way too close. So if I were to eliminate some issues, if I were to eliminate some issues, I would say if your face is good, I would make sure your right arm and right shoulder are pulled back a little. Your right arm's under your left and down the line. And then on the way down, I'd make sure my club is looking more from inside and then more out to the right past impact. Make sure the ball's not too far from your skates. Again, those are guesses without me being able to see. But if your face is good and you're getting cuts, you got to look at setup positions and then path. And mainly path during the downswing. For anyone who's on who doesn't know at this point, which you should know, the video we do. If I do say to you, I need to see your swing, and you do want to send your swing in, Cogorno-Golf.com, so you can go to do that. That's where we have all the videos. That's where you can send in your swing.
Eric,
yes.
Check that your mics are not on mute. People are saying when you go to hit balls, they can't hear you.
You can, you can check as I'm reading here. So Terry, hi, watching you from Spain. Thanks, Terry. Thanks for being here, my friend. Can't hear Eric over the ball. Hey, Eric, love your training videos as they break everything down. Come on in there. Down into simple terms. I have a problem with making consistent contact with my irons, usually a heel or shank. So Terry, thank you. that is one of those that it would be really beneficial for me to see if you're hitting on the heel or shank. Yeah, it could be multiple reasons there. I would check the setup pieces first, make sure the distance away is proper, make sure you don't have too much weight on the toes at address or the heel. So a lot of times the setup distance away or the pressure in your feet, like the balance, can cause some of those heel shots. If you search my name, Terry, and shanks, you'll see a little drill video where there's an object just outside the ball, like a shoebox, a thing like that you have to miss. That's where I would start with. There's just too many variables, Terry. If you do send in your swing, if you're able to join Cogorno Golf, I could take a closer look at why that might be. How are we doing? Okay.
I think, yeah, it looks fine on this end. So they should just keep telling us.
Can you show where you introduce the throw and the driver? So you throw the driver in different places dependent mostly on speed, in my opinion. So if you watch that video back, I tried to make it a point of throw it earlier, right? If you have less speed, what's less speed? I'd say under 100 miles an hour with your driver. Throw it later if you have more speed. What's more speed? Let's say over 100. So when I'm here, ideally, in the ideal world, you have the setup piece is good, the ball position's forward enough, you have enough tilt. You want to feel like you throw the club head at the target. Literally, like if that's the target, and I was going to let it go with my hands, that's the sensation. The club head is throwing out here. Now, in the process of throwing, I'm starting my throw in reality earlier, right? It's gradually throwing the whole time. It's fairly neutral at impact, and then it's gradually passing. But my intention is to get it fully thrown at the target. Now, if you have less speed, you can start to feel like you throw it a little bit earlier and widen your arc and have more dynamic loft to hit more up on it. But it all depends, right? Like, is your club face wildly open? Well, then you probably have to fix that first. Are you dramatically over the top? You probably have to fix that first. Do you not have enough backswing body turn? So there could be several things in your swing where you do not see the benefit of the throw because you have earlier issues. So you have to get the fundamental pieces correct first and then throw. You have to have your club face squared, right, first. Have the setup pieces good. So I would say before I'm looking at throw, I'm saying, hey, is my setup good? So feet are wide. I've got enough tilt. Right hand's kind of down at my kneecap, big turn and depth up to the top, and then I can start to focus on my turn pieces and my throw and my follow throw. So earlier if you have less speed, later if you have more speed. What's a good way to practice fairway finder swing for the driver? Isaac, I would say search my name and go to tee shot on YouTube, and I'll talk about how to do that. I would practice it on the range. Potentially what you would do with your driver is tee the ball lower, right? Tee the ball lower than normal. Let me get another tee here. You would tee it lower than normal. You would pick a flight that you want to hit, and you would hit every single one. So for me right now, my normal driver, I'm looking pretty good. With my fairway finder, I tee the ball lower. Potentially, I would grip up a little bit on my club, and I would really, really hone in on the ball, starting on one side of the target and curving one way, which we call grids. So I'd look in the distance, and I'd pick a target. For me, I had the 200 yard sign, and for me the go-to shot's a fade, so I'd pick a target about 20 yards left of that, and I'd probably put a stick in the ground like in line with all right, I'm going to practice, and I'm going to do it for like an X in a row. So maybe my skill level, I'm trying to get 3 in a row, 5 in a row. I used to like to build to 10 in a row. So I would say, hey, that's right there. I would look at it like my objective is to be able to stand on the range, come behind every ball, hit my drives, and hit 10 in a row. And go to the grid. Figure out your feels to make the ball start and curve the same way. I got to read these two. I got you. Yeah. And so it depends on what kind of ball flight pattern you want to hit, etc. But that would be the starting point that I would do. Let's see. Usually a shank, not coming over the top. Okay. What iron should I use to stop a looter? I don't know what a looter is, so I don't know the answer to that. Robert, are you working on your putting since you're hitting it so well? A little bit. I actually practiced yesterday on a Sunday. Probably the first time in like a decade. I did like 30, I posted up on Instagram. I did 5 minutes of start line, 5 minutes of short distance circles, 5 minutes of 2-putt from 30 plus feet, 5 minutes landing zone with my chipping, 5 minutes trajectories, 5 minutes bumping run, 5 minutes up and down. So it's like 35-minute total routine. I like Robert to do my practice in either a time. So I'll set the timer on my phone for 5 minutes or whatever time and do as many as I can in that, or X in a row. So if I'm doing like up and downs, I might be like, I'm going to keep doing this until I get 5 in a row up and down or whatever it is. So I did some of that. Having trouble getting compression. My ball position is way too far forward, I think. Yeah, ideally with your ball position with, let's say, an 8-iron-ish, you're working off left eye, left ear, just forward of shirt buttons. What I would say if you're struggling for compression is 2 things. One, you have to, I just said 1 and put 2 fingers up. What I meant is 1, you have to make sure your club face is square. So I would search my name and compression, search my name and fix flip. Both of those pieces. We'll talk about having the club face square, and then you can do the compression drills, the hanger and the torque striker. If you got to make sure your club face is tilted down more on the way back and through. Search my name and compression and fix your flip, and you'll see all those videos on there will help. Robert, since getting my live view camera, notice that I'm not rotating around my spine. No surprise there. Instead, my head moves in and out of the circle. When the time comes, is this fixed with an obstruction? It could be if your head's moving out of the circle. It depends on which way it's moving. If your head's in the circle here and you move to the right of that, that would be you have too much forward bend. So your chest is pointed down towards the ground too much. You need to feel more extension or your chest up towards the sky. So notice when I do this, I make my backswing. Here's normal. If I put my chest down towards the ground, forward bend, my head goes to the right. If I pick my chest up, my head works back to the left. So if you are someone who's head out of the circle to the right, you want to feel more extension. So you want to feel like your shirt button is pointing a little bit more up towards the sky, like this, turning your back to that way, more center. If you're someone on the other side that goes too far left, you might have too much shirt buttons up. You need to feel like you turn with your chest a little more down. I like to feel the club across the shoulders turns 90 to a stick inside my leg. Have just a little bit of head and chest off the ball with the driver to get the head more back, which will help hit more up for more distance and guarantee big turn. I don't mind the head going out of the circle to the right if you get a big enough turn with more speed there. So Frank, how far should the club stay behind you in transition if trying to swing more from the inside? So ideally at left arm parallel. So if we go here like this, ideally at left arm parallel. Right over the top, the way back. I like to see the club over the toe line, in line with the right pec, right bicep, towards the depth. So not out here, it's in line with the pec, bicep. Butt of the club over the right heel. As I start down, I want the body to work, my arms in here, left bicep press over my pec, and I would like the arm and hands to be working right back down that right pec, towards the depth. And the butt of the club should be on or outside the ball. Those would be the 2 check points. Stop yourself at left arm parallel on the way down. You want to see that the arms are still in, right pec or sternum, and the butt of the club is on or outside the ball line. There's a billion drills you can do that, but those would be the checkpoints when you're recording down the line. Hey, do I need more arm depth? Well, are you in line with your pec or in front of it? If you're in line with your pec, you're good. If you're in front of it, you're probably too far out. You might have too much chest rotation, maybe your arm flew out, etc. So those would be the pieces. Now, if I were to really want to have good lead arm depth and shaft shallow, I would make sure when I start down, I got a glove or a head cover under my left arm, get it deep enough working back up to the top, and then as I start down, feel like my shoulders stay closed like the first foot. The more your shoulders are closed, the deeper your arms and hands can be more shallow. The more that you open, the more you're going to work out with your arms and hands. So in terms of depth, keeping the shoulders back as you start down, just feel like the first foot can help, and then help with the depth and shallowing out the club. Great videos, guys. Thank you. Lost my spot here again. Still hitting my irons out of the heel, but not as bad as I've been trying to swing slower and put more weight on my heels so I don't fall forward. Any other suggestions? Yeah, unfortunately, that's one where I just simply have to see it. I really do. I mean, why would you be hitting out of the heel? I could think of 10 variables that it could be. So I'd really have to see your swing for that one instead of me throwing out a guess. I can give you some kind of simple drill that might work, might not, but it's a big guess. So I would head over to Cogorno Golf, do the $49, post your swing up, and then I could show you specifically what it is. Ross, what's up, man? Back golfing after 3 months. Sent my videos. Hope you can help. Any quick drills for improving follow through and avoiding collapsed chicken wing? So I would say, Ross, you did send your videos. much better for us to wait and do that in the Facebook group because I can see exactly what's going on. In terms of chicken wing, I'd say there's a handful of things that would lead to causing it. Number one, a club face that's too open. So a lot of people do chicken wing in an attempt to square a club face. So we want to make sure the face is appropriately square on the way back and on the way down. Number two, another big one is body rotation. So a lack of body rotation. So if I make my downswing and I have no turn, at some point my arms and hands I can't keep going unless I turn my body. So that would be the second part. And the third part, Ross, could be being too sweet with the swing. So making sure that my club face is making sure my downswing is firmly inside of So I would say likely if you're struggling with a chicken wing, one of those issues are in there. You have to figure out which one. Now, if you wanted to like go all in on all three of those, you're good.
Our fans are saying they can't hear you when you're in front of the bucket. So I don't know exactly, but this mic is for sure.
I guess we have some audio issues. So if you want to do all three of them, you can do something to square your club face. So that would be like a hanger drill, right? So I just wrote the hanger to get a seat like that. That's the options right now. So this will be like so. Let's say here. This will be on the lead wrist. So I could do a combination of this, so keep my face square underneath here, and then make sure on my way through I get all the way squared to here. So I would do a combination of all three of those. I guess I'm not going to hit because we can't hear it, but something for the face square, something for the swing direction, something for the body rotation. Is there anything we can do to fix the audio, Mary? So no. Luke, hey Eric, appreciate your help hitting the ball with my driver straight to the left, no slice. What do you think? In all likelihood, I would check setup and path. So number one would be if my setup position is too far left, you're right-handed golfer, your shoulders are too open, like this, could be number one. Maybe the ball position is too far forward. So I'd make sure the ball position is not forward, too far forward with your driver, so kind of in line with just inside your lead armpit. Right shoulder, right hip more back and under with your arm like this. And then from there, it's all path. So if you want to do something to make the path work more from the inside or more out to the right, you could do the drill with the bucket behind you where you swing underneath it, or do the drill with the bucket in front where you swing to the right of it. If you search my name in 45-degree drill to fix your pulls and fades, you'll see that one, or search my name in the best drill I've ever seen to shallow your downswing. But you want to make sure your setup pieces and ball position, I would start with those first. Do you have a post-shot routine after every shot, or particularly after a bad shot? Not really. I think you can assess what goes on. We have some more on this on the site on Cogorno Golf in terms of what to think going into a shot, how to assess it, and afterwards. I think just paying attention, like what am I getting? I like to keep stats. So after I'm done with the round, or you can use something like Arcos to see what's going on, and then really take an observational look after you're done as to what's going on. What's the issues here? What do I need to work on? What's my up and down percent? What's my greens and regulation putts, etc. But in terms of post-shot, no, not really. I think when you're playing, you should be looking at it in terms of like curiosity, like instead of mad, right? So the idea would be, if I hit a shot, I'm not going to get upset. I'm going to be more curious. Like, why did that happen? Is there something I can do to adjust that, or more curious when I play? But I don't have a specific 1, 2, 3 post-shot routine, no. Jordan, hey Eric, what is the correct ball position for woods and hybrids off the grass? So I would say forward of center would be the ideal. From here, I don't know how far forward I can go, but I would say forward of center. So here would be like 8-iron, here would be driver. So you want to be somewhere in this zone. If you struggle with contact, maybe slightly farther back would be okay in terms of fairway woods and the hybrids, but just forward of center would be ideal. So guys, just in turn, if we're having some audio issues, I'm not going to be able to swing, I don't think. So I'll just do my best to kind of explain up here as I can. So Ben, are there any common wrist angle or other reasons to cause wrist pain? Yeah, it could be a lot of things. I mean, that's definitely outside of my area of expertise. I'd say it's more kind of doctor, physical therapist. Could be hitting down the ball too much. Could be too much contact with the club and ground. Maybe the mats you're hitting off of. So that's something I'd probably talk with a doctor PT about. It says only your camera mic is working. So maybe these mics are not working at all. Okay. So when I try the full shoulder turn tips, I lose sight of the ball. Okay, so when I try the full shoulder turn tips, I lose sight of the ball top. On video, I'm slightly under 90 degrees at this point. Any tips to get a full turn without losing sight? So probably neck tilts would be another one. So as I work back, if I'm doing full shoulder turn, here's full shoulder turn. This is my neck being forward. This is my neck turn. All right, so I can turn my neck in both directions, and I can also tilt my neck. So I can tilt my neck down and forward, or I can go up and back behind me. So if I make a big turn and my neck is up and back this way, I can't see the ball, but I can turn and tilt it to where I can see it. So I would check that. Feel like as you're doing the big turn, your face, or like the bill of your cap, stays pointed forward here. So I have some extension of my neck this way. So my right ear is not close to the ground, my left ear is closer to the ground, and my face is turned towards the ball. That's where I would start with that. Mike, please, what's the best drill to take a divot? Mike, I would look at my, search my name and compression probably to start with. In terms of taking a divot, it's really swing plane and low point. So one of the things you can do to take a divot if you're too far from inside would be to put an object behind you. Again, you're not going to hear this, but you see it. Stick here, and you're feeling the club working a little bit more on top of the plane. Or you can do like an object, a towel, maybe about a grip or foot behind. If you search my name and how to fix your draw, and search my name and how to fix fat shots or hitting behind the ball, you'll see some of those drills. The real solution, Mike, is why are you having a hard time? What's the root cause of it? And fix that. It could be club face, it could be swing direction, it could be body pivot. So, I mean, there's a lot of things you want to look at. You want to make sure you start neutral, stay pretty centered with your body, work down and forward with your body. That's what I'd start with. Make sure you're 50-50 and you're pretty centered. Keep yourself centered on the way back, and then work down and forward with your head and your body to start the downswing. Would be the piece I'd start with that in terms of body motions. Eric, just want to say your tip on the downswing, missing link to more rotation by doing a right side crunch was so amazing. You are very welcome. Glad to hear that, man. What do we normally do with audio, Mayor? Is it straight through this, or is it in here?
So the mic is wired into the computer. Okay. So I'd have to like get into the
Can we do that, or you can't do that while we're on live? Like you can't take the mics off? I can't. Okay. So hey, Eric, discussing slide or how you keep your head area over or slightly past the ball. One of your vids, if anything, you will go away or lean further back for long irons. How to avoid top end. Hey, Eric, discussing slide or how to keep your head area over or slightly past the ball. One of your videos, if anything, you will go away or lean farther back for long irons. How to avoid top end. I'm not sure exactly what you're asking there, CJ. Discussing slide or how to keep your head area over or slightly past the ball. One of your vids, if anything, you will go away or lean farther. How to avoid topping. So I think what I'm hearing there is what you need to have is right now, if you go slide forward with your hips, head works back this way. If that's what you're currently doing, you will need to feel like your left hip works down and behind you, and your head is kind of working down and forward this way. So your head for you is going to feel like you're working down and forward this way, and your body's getting closer to the ground. So your left shoulder, left hip are working down and forward to get you closer to the ground would be the piece that I would start to look at in terms of avoiding the top shots. What are your thoughts on draw enhancing drivers? I don't know that much about them, so I don't have many thoughts. I would say if you have a neutral driver and the ball slicing, and you can adjust your club and boom, 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 I'm all for it. That's cool. But I think changing your technique to go from draw to slice is fairly straightforward if you're willing to learn how to curve some left. Like if you slice your driver, you got to figure out why your face is open and learn to curve them to the left. Like we have our slice fix program, the 15 shots, etc. It's all about curving to the left. So I think you can fix technique pretty easily. But having said that, if you're willing to get a driver that works, that's cool too. Let's see here. For very narrow holes, I like this, man, Rohit. You get a lot of questions in. Get your money's worth. For narrow holes, I try a squeeze cut off low tee. Sometimes get a pull fade catch of the left trees. Any tips to get the ball started on line when the target's very narrow? Thinking, go. So one thing I do is you need to work your grid like I talked about earlier. So you take your setup, pick your target in the distance, and pick a 20-yard gap. But for you, if you're struggling with pulls, don't put the stick right down the middle of the fairway. Put the stick inside the left edge of the fairway, and you need to learn how to start them to the right as you do your fade. Inherently, from there, you'll learn how to not pull it. I would need to see your swing as to why that's happening. You could be aimed too far left. Your ball position might be too far forward. You might be swinging too far left in terms of the pull. But I would start with, have this here, move the stick inside the left edge of the fairway, and start the ball to the right of it and avoid the pool there. So I would start with those. That will definitely fix it, but you got to go through the actually doing that on the range. And what do I need to feel to have it start more right? Could be as simple as close your shoulders a little. Might be ball position slightly far back. Might be swing more to the right, right? Could be a lot of simple things there. Eric, greetings from Dublin. What's up, man? Do you agree a fade is more consistent shot to adopt? Yeah, I think if you have high enough speed and hit it far enough, like a lot of good players that I've worked with, like I like to draw my irons, fade my driver, fade the woods. A lot of players who have high speed, but I could swing my driver 110, 115, so I have plenty of speed. If you have a lot of speed, I would typically like the player to work more towards fade, especially with the woods. Iron's okay with a draw. I think as you're working up speed, working up skill, probably learning how to do the draw pattern in the beginning is very beneficial because you get a lot of pieces in there to learn how to hit high and far kind of for free along with it. So I'd prefer a golfer learn to draw it, and then you can learn to take the draw off later on if you'd like to, especially if you have enough speed. But a go-to shot off the tee in particular, absolutely. Having a rough few rounds with the driver, if I'm not hitting a push slice block, I'm hitting a straight pull. Yeah, Craig, I'd have to see that one to say for sure. So again, check out the Cogorno Golf, do the $49 and you're swinging. We can go over that. Why would you be getting that pattern? It sounds like you might have some club face issues, hitting a push slice block and then a straight pull. And so to me, what typically that sounds like is your face is too open and then you have an over the top downswing. Sometimes you square the face to that and you hit the pull. Sometimes the face is open and you hit that slice off to the right. I would make sure that the club face is square first. Make sure the grip is good. Make sure the face is tilted down throughout the backswing and downswing first, and probably learn how to curve it left every time. Like keep the pull, eliminate any balls fading to the right. So start hitting pulls and pull hooks every single ball, and then gradually you can. Because if you just fix your face and you swing over the top, you're gonna hit pull and pull hook. If you start to then keep the face fixed, but start to swing a little bit more from inside or out to the right, then you won't get that anymore. You'll start to neutralize it. So I would check the face first. Sounds like you're definitely over the top. Could be some setup things in there, but that's where I'd start with. Eric, can 2-degree difference in lie cause hook with irons? Yeah, absolutely it can. Appears that body mic's still not working. Yeah. Sorry about that. Missing balls straight to the right. So green finder could be setup. I'd make sure you're not aimed to the right. Make sure the ball position is not too far to the back in your stance. From there, typically it would be swing direction. So swing direction being too far from the inside during the downswing, too far to the right. If you search my name and 45-degree drill to fix your pull or pushes and hooks, that would be a good one to start with to make sure you're swing direction. So set up neutral, make sure you're not aimed to the right, make sure ball position is not too far back, and then check swing direction. Hi, Eric. How can I fix a trigger move that starts with a slight shift to the right before the takeaway, right-handed golfer? I don't know that I would change that. I actually like a trigger move like that. If you're overdoing it, right, if you're moving too far off of it, you can always feel the opposite. So if your trigger is body goes this way, chest down, head off, start to feel your chest go up and head work towards the target, then you're probably pretty centered, right? Like a lot of times with these, the solution is feel the opposite and exaggerate 10 times. Of course, from there, record yourself. So if you don't like your head working off the ball, you should have a video from face on, draw a circle around your head, and keep working chest up, head towards the target as your trigger until it just stays within the circle. Scott, what's up, man? Brian, what's the best way to determine the average yardage for each of your clubs? Hitting the ball way better now and it's frustrated, and it's resulted in flying mini green. So ideally, Brian, you'd have a launch monitor. So you'd hop on a TrackMan or someone that you know has a TrackMan. That would be the easiest, best way to do it. You could also go get a club fitting if you wanted to. If you can't find someone local with a TrackMan, get a club fitting and just do like a distance gapping. You don't have to buy new clubs. Just do the fitting, pay the probably $100, $150 and find out what your distances are. Or you can go onto a golf course like later in the evening when there's no one there, drop 2 or 3 balls at a distance, try a club and see where it goes. But ideally, you'd hop on like a TrackMan, Foresight, something like that. Ian, what's up, man? Watch your green reading clocks as a video. Do you have guidelines on how much left, right you should aim from the hole depending on where you are on the clock? No, Ian, because it very much depends on the slope of the green and it depends on the speed of the green. So if I'm on a clock and the green is 1 degree of tilt, all around the circle will curve less on the green, the same green that's on a 2-degree slope, 3, 4, 5. So it depends on the slope percentage or like how uphill or downhill, side hill it is, would be number one. And the second part's the speed. So like the faster the greens are, the more they break. The slower the greens are, the less they break. because when a green's fast, you hit the ball soft. So it travels down that slope for a longer period of time. It curves more. When a green's slow, you hit the ball faster. So it gets to the hole in a shorter period of time, doesn't break as much. So it's not as though like, hey, if you're at 8 o'clock, aim here, et cetera, et cetera. What you have to know is here's my clock system. I know where to aim. And then depending upon the slope and the speed of the greens, you can sort of adjust based on the course there. Scott, yeah, I think the mics just are not in with the camera. Great instruction. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your insight. You're welcome. Can't get my hands ahead at impact with driver. Swing 110 to 114 miles per hour. Practice swing is good, but real is bad. How can you help? Matt, so Matt, I would definitely either work with me in terms of cogornogolf.com or find a coach in person because right now I'm simply going to make too many guesses. Why your handle's not far forward could be your face isn't square enough. It could be your body position is not in the right spot. You might have not enough tilt, or rather, you might have too much tilt, and you can't get your hands far enough forward. You might do the opposite. You might work too far with the upper body and then jump stall. Your face might be too open. You might be swinging too far from the inside, outside. There's really too many variables. So I say that not to sell you on it. I say that because that's the best way I could help you is if I could see your swing. So how to get your handle forward, you got to find out why it's not forward. That's the real answer. Why is it not forward? And then fix that. Could be several variables. What are your thoughts about stack and tilt? I like stack and tilt. I think a lot of pieces in stack and tilt every single good player ever has in their swing. I think stack and tilt needed to have a name, i.e. stack and tilt, to market a book and a product. Just like our YouTube videos, we say some goofy things sometimes because you need people to watch it. So I don't think stack and tilt is really so much about method. It's just like how good golfers play. And then when you have anything good and it spreads amongst a lot of coaches and teachers, there's going to be certain things that are overdone that go away from the original principles they have. But Mike and Andy are great guys. Stack and tilt is great. Again, like anything, you could have any concept, and then you have a chain of like restaurants, and you go to one particular restaurant in one spot, and that restaurant stinks. Doesn't mean the whole restaurant stinks everywhere, just that one you went to. So there's I think a lot of good there. What's the easiest way to adjust distances on wedges? Jordan, if you mean like building a wedge system, what I recommend is using one club. So one wedge, you could do like a 54, 56 degree, one tempo, and just adjust swing length. So if you search my name and Surefire Wedge System, Jordan, search my name in Surefire Wedge System, or just search my name in Wedges online on YouTube, and you'll see a bunch of videos on how to build a system. So I do swing lengths. Like for me, when my hands go hip high, that's 50, just above hip is 60, rib is 70, chest is 80, shoulder's 90, ear is 100, and then full swing's 110. That's all with my 56 at what feels to me like a neutral tempo, where my club head goes back and through at the same exact pace, not trying to add speed or take speed away. I would do that. Then I'd learn how to hit low, medium, and high with that same wedge. So low 50, medium 50, high 50, low 60, medium 60, high 60. That's the deal. That's how I would do that. Let's see. Mike 1704. Mike Kelly, not her. Not sure what you mean there, man. Scott, Eric, thanks, man. As always. Looking at setup, stronger grip, 2.5 to 3 knuckles. Could you talk upper arms, shoulder rotation, forearm rotation at address with a good match at the top? With a good match at the top. So basically, the deal is the stronger your grip. So if your lead hand's more turned like this, your lead elbow is going to be more at the target, and your lead shoulder is going to usually be more internally rotated. So I would do a strong grip like this. If I had a weak grip, so more weak, my elbow will be more at me, and my shoulder will be more externally rotated, left elbow behind me. Strong grip will be left elbow more at the target, shoulder more in. At the top, depending upon the flight you want, if you have a strong grip and you go flat, you'd be like DJ at the top with the face more square. Now, that's only playable for you if you have a lot of speed, if you have a lot of side bend, if you're able to get the handle far enough forward. Probably with a strong grip, you want to just go slightly into extension at the top with a little more hinge, to the face a little bit more neutral. That'll give you a big swing length at the top. And I would just keep everything neutral from there. You don't have to go external with the shoulder with that, or internal with the shoulder. You don't have to have any kind of form rotation. I'd say the setup piece is the biggest one. Where you're at the top is more preference of what you want to do on the way down, but definitely left elbow and the target shoulder in. And then up at the top from here, again, you can go lead arm more internally rotated, more laid off. You can go lead arm more externally rotated, go more down the line. You can choose. There's a lot of options there, but I would say the setup pieces are the most important part. Jim, what's up, man? After your lesson, any great videos hitting more fairways and greens than ever. Love that. In my 63 years playing, playing other golf now says you can't make a 2-foot putt pulling everything eye line way inside ball. Says you can't make 2-foot putt pulling everything eye line inside ball. So Jim, I would say for you a couple things. Number one, obviously in terms of the eye line of the putter, if you want to take your setup position, you'd love to typically see the eye line over the ball or just on the inside of the ball would be ideal. Usually when you get too close to it like this, the putter pass can go too far outside your cross, so you can potentially get a little bit farther apart. And then I'd put in some sort of putting gate drill. So if you're hitting pools, search my name and gate drill with your putting and put the tees on the ground to get your putter path working neutral. So those would be the piece I'd check. Make sure your ball position is not too far forward. Make sure that you're not aimed to the left. But usually when you get too close to it, eye line over it, the pass is going to go outside in. If you stand farther away, usually that'll be a little bit more rounded. Henry, Eric, I struggle with hip rotation. When I mindfully try to rotate hips, I feel like I end up on my back leg. I struggle to make space and real extension. Henry, I would look at, I think we have a video, Mayor, it says low battery on the Mac here. Go plug in or something. I guess, yeah. In terms of hip things, so I would say watch the videos we do with Mike in Alaska on the hip depth, right on the hip depth. And so during the backswing, feel like the lead hip is great space for the back, and the upper body's working this way. You can push your lead hip back more as you start down. It's gonna rotate more by itself. So I would search that. We have a couple of videos coming out on this, Henry, over the next couple of weeks. If you can be patient with it in terms of how the hips work and creating depth and some downswing things. So what I really like is an object behind you, your left leg, where you have to feel the depth there. So your left hip literally feels like it's working back a foot, or put the chair in front of you outside the knee, push your belt buckle onto it, but left of the target. So if you're my target, I want to feel like I push the belt buckle actually left of the target on my way through. Losing a lot of people here. I wonder if we're losing some audio. I'm going to come back up here. So yeah, those would be pieces. But if you watch this week, you should. We have some more videos on there. What'd you say, Mary? Yeah. Terry, overdrawing most of my shots. Have a strong grip. Done your 15 swings or less, and a member. Awesome. Love all the drills. You are welcome, Ted. That's exactly what should happen, right? When you hit and slice in the beginning, you have to learn to overdraw first. Then from there, right, you can either keep the overdraw, or you can learn to have your path a little more neutral, not have to shut the face as much, get the handle more forward, add some body rotation. There's a lot of ways to take that hook off, but I wouldn't do it too quick, especially if you have the ball slicing the other way for quite a while. Dennis, where does power come from in the golf swing? Right arm and hand. Yeah, it's a loaded question, Dennis. Unfortunately, really unanswerable. Power from the golf swing comes from everything, right? There's power in my arms, hands, wrists. There's power in my upper body. There's power in my lower body. There's power in the pressure of my feet. So there's power comes from everywhere. Really, ideally, you want to be able to use your body as kind of the source of a lot of the power, but it comes from everywhere. Mike, you are welcome, my friend. Spencer, how to fix pull draws with driver and iron. So it depends on why you're getting the pull draw. Another one of those that's not 1 + 1 = 2. Depends on why you're getting the pull draw. I would check setup pieces. Downswing could be too far out in front of you. Shoulders could be opening too quickly. At the end of the day, Spencer, what I would do in terms of your test is have that stick out in front of you, just like I did with the driver, and put that on your target line. Pick a target, let's say the 200. Put the stick right on it. Pick a secondary target about maybe 30 feet to the right of that. Put a stick on the ground that cuts that grid in half. Aim your club face at that stick that cuts it in half. Keep your feet square to the target, but have your club face pointed at that stick and hit some shots. See if that takes away the pull draw by itself. So grid, targeting the distance, target about 20, 30 feet to the right of it. Stick in the ground like this one that's vertical out in front. Stick on the ground that cuts the grid in half. Learn how to start the ball to the right without it over curving. In terms of mechanics, just could be too many things. Have to see your swing there, my friend, for that one. Thomas, when rotating through impact, how should the right hip go along? When rotating through impact, how should the right hip go along impact? When I look at pros, it seems like when the left leg's straightening, the club swings through, the right hip stays straight. Yeah, so I would say, Thomas, if you search my name and right side feels for rotation, and search my name and right leg and right foot, that'll talk about that. Really, the idea is when I get to my finish position, I'd like to have both my legs parallel to each other, so my quads in line with my hips fully slowly turn. As my lead leg, my lead side of my pelvis turns, as my lead leg turns, my right leg is definitely coming along with it and turning, and then there's the extension part. So search my name in right leg. There's how the right leg works in the downswing. There's right side body rotation feel. So there's several options that should help there. Let's see. Spencer, drills to get width in the swing. This one's easy. Search my name in width. There's a really good one with a bucket drill, which I can't do, I think, here with the audio. But the bucket, you would put it between your chest and your arms, and then keep the bucket in the way back and through. You'll really feel the length of the arms. You must make sure you turn your body to get width. Arm width is very much based on body turn. So if this is good width, if I have no turn, I can't get my arm back to the club. I need to turn my left shoulder back just to be able to get to it. So width of the arms is always based on body turn. Bigger turn, more width. Less turn, right? If my body's way open, for me to get there, I'm going to have less width because I literally can't get farther back. For me to get more width, I have to be more turn. If you search my name in width, it'll show you that bucket drill. John, struggle with an over-the-top swing. I've watched your videos on the concept of trying to shot off the club head, but can't seem to have it click. Best drills to fix this at home and range. If you're over the top too much, I'd say 95% chance your club face is too open. You have to find out why it's too open and fix that. That could be grip, that could be wrist conditions, that could be multiple variables, but probably your club face is too open if you're not able to fix it. There could be some sequencing issues, things like that. John, again, if you could send in your video at Cogorno Golf, I could take a look at it and help more. But I would say fix the face first, watch my videos, and I think Guaranteed Slice Fix is the one that talks about the club face part. You got to learn how to hook them left. Once your brain sees the ball hooking to the left a lot, it'll be a lot easier to swing more from the inside. I am, let's see, have tried everything to fix nothing works. So if you're hooking the ball too much, search. So again, I'm going to just recommend videos here just because I can't demonstrate, but you want to search my name and how to fix your hook. So two videos I'd search for here. How to fix your hook, and that's going to go through some drills in terms of putting a stick behind you to steepen the downswing pattern. And then the other part is going to be the 45-degree drill to fix your push and hook, and that's going to be with the stick out in front. So those will be the ones. If you tune back in maybe next week or the week after, we should have this coordinated. I should be able to demonstrate. I can show you more of the drills, but I would start with those. Hey, Eric, what are your thoughts on Mevo versus Swing Caddy, and are these helpful during practice sessions? I already have live view. I know it's yeah. Honestly, Joseph, I don't have enough experience with both of them to even say. I've used the Mevo and the Swing Caddy a handful of times, but really not enough to really truly test them if they're good enough. So unfortunately, I can't give feedback on that one because I don't know. CJ, you're the best. You got it, man. The pass, I move the ball position, keep stance with the same. Other YouTube coaches say iron head away from front heel, change stance with pros and cons. Other YouTube coaches say iron head away from, in terms of ball position, change stance. Yeah, I don't think there's too many pros and cons to that. I think you can do that. I think a lot of good players really keep the ball pretty much in the same spot and then just change feet with. So I don't think there are too many pros and cons. I don't think there's too many cons to doing that. I think you just have to make sure with your setup fundamentals, regardless of how you do it, from face on and down the line, that things are just neutral enough that they're not causing any issues. Because the reality is when you change your feet width, the ball position is going to change along with that. And so I don't think there's any cons there with that. Michael, by the way, love your video with Malaska going back to stack and tilt. My question more specifically is around hip turn. By straightening your trail leg and backswing, does that take you offline? No, you should straighten your left leg or trail leg some amount. Almost every good player, other than maybe Keegan Bradley and like one or two other guys I've seen, increase the trail leg flex. You should lose flex in your backswing. That allows your right hip to get deeper and more behind you for more hip turn. More hip turn means more shoulder turn. More shoulder turn means more depth. More depth means butt of the club farther from the ball. Butt of the club farther from the ball means more speed, more distance. More depth means swinging more from inside. It's almost all good. Now, should you lock the right leg? Probably not. You should lose some flex from it, increase turn. 8 out of 10 people I see don't have enough turn in terms of just up and down a driving range. So for most players that me seeing you, I would say that would be a good thing. It's like how much you do it and when you do it. Jordan, good feels to get on plane from the top of the driver's swing to the downswing. So Jordan, it depends on which side you're on. So if you're over the top, you want to watch the shallowing or draw videos. If you're too far under, you want to do the opposite. So I don't think that, the best way always is to just find a neutral. I think the best way is to do the opposite of your issue. So if you're too far over the top, you got to find out why and start to fix that pattern more from inside. Again, I can't demonstrate it, but let's say the stick behind you, you swing underneath. And then if you're too far underneath, you would do the opposite and feel kind of the more of the over top. If you come back, Jordan, next week or the week after, I can demonstrate some of those for you. Okay, we're going to do one more, and then we're going to wrap her up early because this our computer's going down. Our mics are off. We're having some troubles today. For right-handed golfer, does the right leg straighten a bit or maintain the same flex throughout? Right leg definitely should straighten on the backswing, should reflex in transition, and then re-straighten. So it'd be like kneecaps over the balls of the feet, lengthen on the way back, straighten it coming down, and then lengthen on the way through. If you search my name and right leg, you should be able to see that. So sorry about this, guys. Some technical difficulties here. Hubert. Hi, Eric. You always use live view feedback. Can you do a video on how to use live view post or swing? Yes, I can do that, Hubert. We'll put that on the list. Sorry for some technical difficulties here. Tried a different setup. We have some issues. Hopefully next week or the week after, next Monday, 5 p.m., we'll be back. The audio will be better. I can demonstrate more, etc. So thank you guys for sticking through us. We're trying some new stuff. Hope all is well, and we'll see you guys next week.